There is a moment in your life when everything you once believed about yourself begins to crack. A moment when the identity you spent years building begins to crumble. And in that silence, beneath the noise of who you were, you hear something ancient calling you forward. This is not the beginning of your breakdown. This is the beginning of your becoming. For years, maybe even decades, you wore a mask, what Jung called the persona. It was everything the world wanted from you: the good student, the loyal worker, the nice person, the obedient child. But here's the truth Jung uncovered. The persona is only a mask of the collective psyche, a mask that feigns individuality. Carl Jung, 2 essays on analytical psychology. It was never truly you. It was your survival suit, crafted not from your soul, but from society's expectations. How much of your identity today is chosen, and how much is inherited, conditioned, or forced? You learned to hide your anger. You tucked away your dreams. You silenced your wildness, all for the sake of fitting in, of being acceptable, of being loved. But love that demands your conformity is not love. It's control. At first, the change comes like a whisper. You don't quite feel like yourself anymore. Your job feels hollow. Your relationships start to strain. Your routines feel pointless. You wake up and realize, this is not the life my soul was meant for. This is the moment of disintegration. And though it feels like death, it's actually rebirth. We cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation doesn't liberate. It oppresses. Carl Jung. You are not broken. You are becoming. But first, you must descend into the depths. Jung believed that each of us holds a vast, unexplored terrain beneath our awareness, the unconscious. In it lies everything you rejected, denied, repressed, your shadow, your anger, your jealousy, your ambition, your sexuality, your pain. All of it lives there, waiting to be acknowledged. Not so it can destroy you, but so it can liberate you. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Carl Jung. What part of yourself have you disowned out of fear it would make you bad or unlovable? The shadow is not evil. It is raw potential. Jung taught that to truly evolve, you must confront the darkness within, not avoid it. Because it is in your shadow that your power lives. And until you face it, you remain fragmented, only half alive. Think about this. You are no longer who you once were, because the old version of you wasn't complete. You were performing, not living. And now, something inside is demanding you become whole. Jung named the process of becoming whole individuation. It's not self-improvement. It's self-revelation. It is the path of becoming your true self, the one beneath the persona, beneath the mask, beneath the ego. Individuation means becoming an individual, and insofar as individuality embraces our innermost, last, and incomparable uniqueness, it also implies becoming one's own self. Carl Jung. Individuation is not an easy path. It requires you to break from your conditioning, reclaim your shadow, listen to the wisdom of your dreams, embrace solitude, face your wounds, and most terrifying of all, to let go of everything that no longer serves you, even if it once defined you. If you were no longer afraid of losing approval, who would you become? The ego clings to the past. It fears the unknown. It wants certainty, validation, and control. But transformation demands surrender. Jung believed that the ego must die many small deaths, so the self, the totality of who we are, can rise. It's why so many people feel lost in midlife. They've built a life around their ego, And when it starts to crack, they panic. But Jung reminds us, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Carl Jung, not what others expect, not what the culture rewards, but who you really are, beneath it all. Somewhere in you, the call has already begun. Maybe it came through heartbreak. Maybe it arrived through burnout. Maybe it was triggered by loss, betrayal, or illness. Whatever its form, it is sacred. Because it is your soul saying, you were never meant to live like this. You are no longer who you once were. What pain in your life might actually be a portal, a doorway, calling you to evolve. This is your moment, not to rebuild your old identity, but to shed it, and to walk into the unknown, trusting that something greater is waiting to be revealed. You are not here to be perfect. You are not here to play a role. You are here to remember yourself, to dig deep, to descend, to wrestle with your darkness and emerge with your own light. You are not broken. You are being forged. And when you come out the other side, you will not be who you were. You will be who you were, always meant to become. This is just the beginning of your awakening. And as we continue, you'll explore the next stages of transformation, healing the inner child dream, work and symbols, integrating the animus, anima transcending the old self, living as the true self in a false world. But for now, breathe. Let the truth settle. You are no longer who you once were. You are becoming. And so we descend deeper, not away from who we are, but into it. You are no longer who you once were, because now you see that healing is not about becoming something new. It's about recovering what was lost and integrating what was hidden. Within each of us lives a younger self, not a memory, but a living presence, our inner child. This child still carries the pain of the moments you were ignored, criticized, misunderstood. The fear of abandonment, the ache of not being enough, the shock of being told, don't be too loud, don't cry, don't feel. You didn't stop feeling, you just learned to hide it. Every adult was once a child, but only few remember it. Carl Jung. And now, that child is knocking, calling, begging to be seen. You must return to them, not to judge them, but to hold them, to say what no one ever said. I see you. I believe you. I'm sorry you had to carry this alone. What would your younger self need to hear from you right now that no one else ever gave? This is not regression. This is reintegration. Because your inner child is the key to your joy, creativity, spontaneity, and innocence. The more you reject them, the more you lose access to your own aliveness. Carl Jung was obsessed with dreams, not as random images, but as messages from the unconscious. Each night, your psyche sends you metaphors, symbols, myths, not to entertain, but to guide. Dreams are the guiding words of the soul. Carl Jung. That recurring nightmare? That strange animal? That fall, that flight, that forgotten face? They are all trying to tell you something. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens. Carl Jung. Dreams are not lies. They are not foolish. They are your soul's coded messages. What dream has stayed with you? And what might your soul have been trying to say? Keep a dream journal. Study your symbols. Trust that your deeper mind is always speaking, if you're willing to listen. Inside every man lives a feminine presence, what Jung called the anima. Inside every woman, a masculine spirit, the animus. These are not about gender. They are about energies. The anima is your intuition, feeling, and receptivity. The animus is your reason, structure, and strength. Most people reject one and over-identify with the other. But true transformation demands integration. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Carl Jung. That reaction must happen within you too. To become whole, you must balance softness with strength, logic with emotion, stillness with motion. Which energy have you been taught to suppress? Your softness or your strength? Your reason or your intuition? Reclaim them, not to perform, but to complete yourself. Jung believed the true goal of human life was not happiness, it was wholeness. The self is a circle, whose center is the center of the psyche as a whole. Carl Jung. You are not just your thoughts. You are not just your wounds. You are not even just your personality. You are a totality, a convergence of light and shadow, of past and future, of conscious and unconscious. The self is the divine blueprint within you, and every crisis, every loss, every breakdown was part of your calling home. You see now, you are not broken. You are being called back to center. You are no longer who you once were, because the old self was a fragment. Now, the rest of you is rising. Your fear, your wisdom, your intuition, your will. All of it, rising to meet you at the crossroads of your own becoming. And now, you must do what few are willing to do. Not just awaken, but live awakened. Integration means you don't just talk about your shadow, you walk with it. You don't just understand your trauma, you move beyond it. You don't just dream, you build a life aligned with your soul's truth. That's what makes this path so difficult. It demands that you change not just your mind, but your habits, your relationships, your choices, and sometimes your entire world. What in your life must be released for the real you to rise? Let it go. You are no longer who you once were. And that is not a tragedy. That is your liberation. The world will resist your transformation. It wants the old version of you, predictable, pleasing, tame. But you are here now to remember your fire. You are here to evolve, to return to your center, to reclaim what was lost, to become the one your soul has waited for. Your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens. Carl Jung. And that is where most remain. Trapped in distractions, addicted to comfort, afraid of the mirror, but not you. Because the moment you hear this voice, you realize something inside you is done pretending. You're no longer who you once were, and the self that's emerging cannot be ignored. Fear, the oldest companion. It kept you alive once. But now, it keeps you small. Your fear was never meant to be your compass. It was meant to be your signal, a whisper that said, "This is where the old you ends." To transcend fear, you must feel it fully. Not fight it, not suppress it, but breathe it in and walk through it. Where your fear is, there is your task. Carl Jung. Ask yourself, what have you been avoiding because fear convinced you it was danger when it was actually your destiny? To be real in a world that rewards masks is a radical act. You were trained to play roles, the good son, the obedient daughter, the people pleaser, the strong one, the success story. But every performance comes with a price. The slow erosion of the soul. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Carl Jung. Authenticity is not about rebellion. It's about alignment. It's about telling the truth in a world full of scripts. It's about living in such a way that your inner world and outer world finally match. What truth about yourself have you been hiding to stay accepted? What would happen if you revealed it? This journey isn't about becoming someone impressive. It's about becoming yourself, fully, even if it costs you approval, even if it shakes your relationships, even if it means starting again. Because the life built on lies can only take you so far. And now, it's time to go further. There comes a moment in every life when the old must die. Not the body, but the false self. The version of you built on shoulds, shame and survival. It doesn't go quietly. It screams, it bargains, it clings, but it must go. There is no coming to consciousness without pain. Carl Jung. This is the night of the soul, the breakdown, the shedding, the sacred disillusionment, and it hurts, but this pain is holy, because from it comes the birth of the true self. What version of yourself needs to die so that the real you can live? Let it. Grieve it. Thank it. Then let it go. You're not losing yourself. You're returning to yourself. Jung called it the persona, the social mask. You show it to the world to belong, to be accepted, to feel safe. But it is not you. The persona is tidy, agreeable, polished. But your soul is wild, unpredictable, passionate, messy. To live only as the persona is to starve your authenticity. But here's the truth. The greatest burden a child must bear is the unlived life of the parents. Carl Jung. Many of us inherited masks, scripts, expectations that weren't ours. But the cost of continuing the act is your own unlived life. You are no longer who you once were. You are not the mask. You are the one behind it, breathing, waiting, burning. The world doesn't need more polished faces. It needs people who dare to be whole, people who feel, people who own their darkness and still walk in the light, people who drop the act. What part of yourself do you only show in secret? What if that was your superpower, not your shame? This is where it turns. After the darkness, after the silence, after the stripping away of everything you thought you were, you begin to rebuild. Not from scratch, from truth. You say no to what dishonors your soul, yes to what expands your aliveness, enough to people, systems, and beliefs that shrink you. You are not rebelling. You are resurrecting. From the ashes of every false identity, a deeper self rises, calm, clear, unshakable. We cannot change anything unless we accept it. Carl Jung. You accept it now. You see yourself in full, and you rise. What now? The old maps are useless. The old guides can't lead you here, because this is your territory, the unknown, but also the sacred. No longer defined by wounds, no longer trapped by your past, no longer living someone else's life. You are no longer who you once were. Now you are a creator, a conscious being, a carrier of your lineage's healing, a wild and luminous soul. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. Who do you choose to become now? Say it out loud. Let the old hear it. Let the new welcome you. This is not an ending. This is a threshold. The old self bows. The mask falls. The light breaks through. You are reborn, not as someone else, but as the most honest version of yourself. You are no longer who you once were, and that is your power. If this message spoke to something deep inside you, if you felt seen, awakened, or even challenged, then don't let it end here. Subscribe to this channel to continue your journey inward. Like this video if it resonated. Comment below. Tell us, who are you becoming? And share this with someone who's ready to remember who they truly are. Because the world needs more awakened souls. And maybe this is where it begins.